Do you remember what the thing is?
I don't remember what happened. Yeah.
Better
I was
late.
doing it while you were listening to.
Well, I was listening.
our test.
Yeah. Better late than never, though, right? Marvel's world, we're just living in it.
Welcome to the Crooked Table Podcast, where we discuss the world of film from a fresh angle. And now your host, Robert Yaniz Jr.
Welcome to the Crooked Table Podcast. This is Rob.
This is Freddy.
No, you're not that slow. That was a take 2 of the intro, and Freddy's being funny now. Because I feel like I talk too quickly. It's a problem. Freddy's like, yes, I confirm that.
Yes,
After living with you for 20-something years, yes, I could confirm you talk too quickly.
Well, if I wasn't fluent in English, then...
That's true. But, I don't want the listener to be like, what is happening?
A lot of people think Spanish people talk really fast. But
that's true.
That's just because we don't know the language or we're learning the language and we don't have an ear for it.
Fair point. Anyway, welcome to the Language Breakdown Podcast. Welcome to the Crooked Table Podcast. On this episode, we're going to be talking about Marvel's The Defenders, which you probably watched like a month ago now, but, we still want to talk about it. It just took a while to get this together because hurricanes and Freddy's has a new job and I have a baby still and all that craziness. But, life finds a way eventually. And here we are talking about The Defenders. So what's going on over there, Freddy? It's been a while since we've had you on. It's been basically me yammering on every episode.
Yes. I've just been working and just watching stuff on Netflix, like Stranger Things and Death Note and
missing all the
and then Westworld and HBO.
All the buzzworthy movies. You need to. Yeah, we were just talking about.
I've been catching
before.
up on shows that people say you should watch.
There you go.
Pretty much.
That's a good use of your time until the next big blockbuster stuff. Or what about you? Haven't even seen Kingsman yet, I guess. Then.
No, I haven't seen Kingsman.
So you need to get at least on that.
Yeah, and I haven't had a lot of time. So the only time that I have is watching an episode of television
or recording this podcast, so people should really appreciate that you're taking the time to talk about The Defenders.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies I haven't even seen. I think the last movie I saw was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
The last time you were on here. Wow.
Last time.
So we only talk about the only movies you see are for the podcast, it sounds like.
Yeah,
so
exclusively, yeah.
That's dedication, ladies and gentlemen. So, The Defenders.
You four. The devil of Hell's Kitchen. The smart-ass detective.
We got a problem?
The righteous ex-con.
My bad.
And the kid with a glowing fist.
Yes, I want you to be.
The war for New York is here.
Yes, I know enemy.
So get your shit together.
We both saw The Defenders a month or so ago. Actually, I saw the first 4 episodes a month or so before that.
Oh, stop trying to brag.
I know, I'm telling them. and I reviewed it for WeGotThisCovered.com. I'll put the link in the show notes below. So just going into The Defenders, I know we were both really excited about the show, the miniseries, I guess, as it were. So what was sort of your thought process going into it? Like, what were you expecting, and what was your experience with the previous 4 shows? Like, which was your favorite and that kind of thing?
My favorite of the shows probably be Daredevil. I think.
Are you saying everything slow this episode?
No. It's different. I like Daredevil and I like Jessica Jones. The other two, they're not as good.
I agree with you on that. I think we're pretty much in lockstep.
I don't know which one is my favorite out of those two.
I'm surprised because I thought you were just going to be like, Daredevil, that's it. And then the other ones.
Jessica Jones, it's so different,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same, but it's also very different, and also both of them have really good, the best villains out of the others.
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, pretty much, except for, I would still say, I would put Fisk and Kilgrave up there with Loki.
Oh, yeah,
I'd say
definitely.
So Daredevil and Jessica Jones sort of back and forth for you, and then the other ones, not as much.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I came into it thinking that they were going to meet each other, like, in the first episode.
Uh-huh.
and that wasn't the case. They kind of like danced around.
Slow burned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a
and
second.
I was hoping that would have happened in the end of Iron Fist, but that also didn't happen. So I kept, you kept
waiting for
Matt
Murdock
on the edge of my
I was
waiting on the edge of my seat
to show up at Colleen's dojo, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, so stuff that happened in episode 2 or 3 were things that I thought was going to happen toward the end of
the
Iron Fist,
or
to set up for the Defenders,
right?
Because I wanted to have sort of like a blend.
You wanted to just turn on the Defenders and be like, boom, we're in it, let's go.
Yeah.
Instead of
I wanted sort of like
story. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted them to melt together.
Right.
And that wasn't the case. It's like they had elements.
Right. Well, before we get to that, we'll get to that in a second. So going into it, I agree with you. I mean, we've both watched all 4 shows, before this, so we were fully up to speed on the Marvel Netflix arm of the MCU, I guess, as it were. And I agree with you. I'm pretty much neck and neck with Daredevil and Jessica Jones. The way I like to think of it is that Daredevil gives me like the straightforward superhero action, with a secret identity and with all that, kind of what you expect from superhero stories.
Great screenplay, great cinematography.
Right, yeah. But I'm saying, as far as narratively, Daredevil gives me kind of the classic superhero setup, and then does it in a really artful, stylistic, modern, and gritty sense. Whereas Jessica Jones takes the source material and does sort of a film noir take on it, with more subtext to what's going on thematically, with more psychological realism, and kind of puts you more in the head of an anti-hero in a way, more than Daredevil and the other. I mean, it's fair to say that Jessica Jones is the most morally compromised.
Yeah,
of the 4.
Both of the tones of Jessica and Jones and Daredevil are in tune to their character.
Right.
Because Jessica Jones isn't the type that goes out of her way to be a superhero. It kind of just falls into her lap.
Actually spends the whole time trying to not be a hero.
Exactly. And even this season she avoids that. Avoids trying to be a superhero as well.
As for Luke Cage, I like Luke Cage a lot. In Jessica Jones and on his own show. I think that story sort of ran out of juice about halfway through when we have a huge villain shift. I think it shifted from a really charismatic villain to one that's not really that interesting at all. And then I felt like that show sort of was spinning its wheels in those last, not the very last few episodes, but maybe the first half of the second half of the season. So episodes 8, 9, 10 around there. It sort of kind of felt like it had to recalibrate itself a little bit, and I lost some interest in it along the way.
For me, I felt like they took their time to make sure that they did things right with Daredevil, with Jessica Jones, and then when it came to Luke Cage and then Iron Fist, they kind of haphazardly picked up the pieces to put something together.
They more had a release date, and they were like, we gotta get it ready.
To get it ready for a release date. So, to me, I didn't think the screenplay was as good. The villains definitely weren't as good.
I guess for both of them.
For both, yeah. The action isn't as good for either of those.
Right.
The acting, it seems a little forced because the screenplay is terrible. Rosario Dawson, she's a great actor, but in Luke Cage, some of her acting, to me, didn't seem as believable because the screenplay wasn't good. It's not always the actor if the acting is terrible.
Yeah.
They dealt with what they had, and that's what they had to deliver. But personally, I think that they just fell short. Like you said, they rushed to get something out.
There's a lot more substance to those first 2 shows than there is in the second 2 shows, and they're entertaining. But I'll take that back. There is some substance to Luke Cage. It's just the story that is in place to back it up it just sort of feels like it's running in circles at some points. Iron Fist is by far my least favorite of all 4 shows, and I really kind of lost interest in a lot of that, as a lot of people, a lot of critics especially, had major issues with that show. The fact that he's not a very good superhero, the fact that the action was kind of terrible, the fact that several of the supporting players are just kind of there and annoying, all the boardroom stuff for your ninja superhero show. So I had a lot of issues with Iron Fist. I actually reviewed that for We Got This Covered too, and I gave that 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
So I was mostly hoping the Defenders was going to lean way more on Daredevil and Jessica Jones and a little less on... Well, Luke Cage is fine. He's like in the middle for me. Like, I like the show, but I didn't love it. But I also think it's much better than... I think
Iron Fist better than Luke Cage. Yeah. I think with Luke Cage, they focused on the wrong things for the character. Uh-huh. I think they should have focused more on his backstory.
They focused a lot on his backstory,
but they didn't focus...
They should have said it in his backstory?
They should have said it. No, not said it in his backstory.
Because we see quite a bit of him, like, in prison and getting the powers and his relationship with Reva. Actually, more than I thought we would.
Yeah, but I think that it should have been interlocked with the actual story. Just having these...
Was just things going on with Mariah and stuff?
Yeah. Just having these random villains.
It was locked with Shades was the connection, I guess.
Yeah, I know, but he was
too flimsy a connection for you?
Yeah, it was... I liked Shades.
Yeah, I did too, actually. I didn't think I would.
But he was just a minor character. It wasn't like the forefront of the thing. Right. So if you're going to be basing your backstory and your gold off of a minor character, it's not really that good.
Well, that's part of
it. Had something to do with Cottonmouth.
This is a totally separate conversation.
Well, yeah. But we're gonna delve into how it changed with Defenders from crap to not as crap. With Iron Fist, I felt like if anything should be good, it should be the action.
Right.
Because for the character, I mean,
nope.
Yeah, well, that wasn't the case. But in terms of some of the story, at least, it was a little bit better in terms that it had to do more with the hand and what the others... It gave more substance to interlink the other shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
It was connection back to Daredevil.
If you didn't watch Iron Fist, then you'd be a little confused in the Defenders. Yeah. But if you didn't watch Luke Cage... You would maybe be slightly confused with some of his scenes, but you would know basically what's going on.
Yeah, and I had actually went back and forth with someone on Twitter when the Defenders, when it had just dropped, a couple days before or something, talking about, they're saying that they really don't feel like they want to watch Daredevil, and then I was making the case that Daredevil is a very important part of, if you don't watch Daredevil season 2, you're going to be lost in the Defenders. I feel like Iron Fist is a pretty close second, because the story of the Defenders, spoilers, but again, you're listening to this a month after it went live. The Defenders is all about the hand, just like Iron Fist and Daredevil. So it's weird because you have these 4 shows, and 2 of them are connected because Luke Cage was a spin-off of Jessica Jones, and then the other 2 are connected by the common enemy, by the fact that they were
their backstory.
They're in this mystical ninja universe. So 2 of them are fighting street people, street thugs, and dealing with that, and then the other 2 are on a bigger scale.
Yeah,
and I thought that was interesting the way that it was bookended by
the hand. And I loved in that sense that Daredevil and the Iron Fist, they were on the same page because they had dealt with this before and they know of it.
So when Iron Fist Jessica Jones, it's the hand. Daredevil's how do you know about the hand?
Yeah, and then on the flip side, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are kind of I don't know what's going on. I just wanted to save this kid, or I just wanted to find out what happened to this guy who had the C4 in his apartment.
Right.
So
you thought that the show took too long to bring them together? Because that's what I liked.
That was what I expected.
What I was
expecting.
Oh, okay.
But I liked the build-up. Because it's just I expected it to all happen.
It's really
episode
3. When is the episode in the Chinese restaurant? 3 or 4, I think. It might even be 4, honestly. I think it might be. But they're sitting down and having a conversation. Yeah.
It's the end of 3, I think.
Okay, because it takes almost half of the miniseries for them to even be all right, I guess we're all in together on this.
Yeah, and then they fight Elektra.
But that's what happens in look at the Avengers. But it takes basically an hour of that movie to be this is Thor, meet Iron Man, Captain America, this is Bruce Banner, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You want the the team up to stand on its own, so that you don't have to watch, the other stories to get their team dynamic.
Yeah, and I appreciate the slow build up, because it would just seem rushed,
right?
If they were just like, oh, what happens? We're
all
all here, you know.
4 of them are out for a morning jog, and they'll like collide on a corner, like, hey, who are you? A glowing fist.
And I like that it was more in a natural setting that they all ended up coming together, as in Rosario Dawson being like, hey, meet this guy. Hey, meet this guy.
But they still made it worth the fact that she knew everybody by having her still be a pivotal part of how Luke Cage and Iron Fist meet.
Yeah, exactly.
And it felt really organic that Jessica Jones is, again, like I said, an anti-hero, so she's always getting in trouble with the law, so it stands to reason she's going to need a lawyer at some point.
Yeah.
In comes Matt Murdock, and the way that all fell together, and then they all have their 4 individual paths that kind of converge, I thought really fed into the fact that these are 4 people who don't want to work together, but it just kind of circumstances lead them to becoming a team.
Yeah.
And I thought that the way that they took their time to do that was probably the best, was for me really satisfying, because watching 4 separate stories, and this is the same for the Avengers, that are able to be sort of wrapped together over time and kind of interwoven. It's kind of a magical thing to watch on screen, and like to see all the little details and how like, oh, this person knows this person and this is how this leads, or like how Luke Cage who's like the definition of a blue collar hero, and butting heads with Iron Fist because he's like, oh, you got all this rich boy problems and blah 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 blah, and you should be using these resources you have and all this stuff. I loved all that shit, and it actually made all the heroes sort of on a little bit more of an even playing field, whereas I came in loving Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and I ended up leaving Defenders having a much stronger appreciation for Luke Cage and Iron Fist as well.
Yeah. I agree.
So I don't know. You go ahead. I've been up for a
while. So yeah, I like the interwoven relationships that they had as well. And I liked at first that, of course, Jessica Jones wanted to be separate from the group,
but so she ended up. Yeah.
Well,
not as much,
but for different reasons. He wanted to do it on his own. She just didn't want to have any part of it.
Right.
So, but in the end, she realizes that it's the right thing to do.
Of course, she's the one to leave the team and then come back and be like, all right, hey guys, did you miss me or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that the follow through, because the interesting thing with these team up stories is that they each are coming from their individual shows, but they have to then go to their next season of their individual shows, and then people that don't watch the Defenders can't be like, whoa, what the hell's going on? I missed so much, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it has to sort of feel like, yes, this happened, but it also didn't happen in the context of Luke Cage season 2 and Jessica Jones season 2. You know what I mean? Yeah. Aside from the fact that they now know each other, Daredevil is probably the one that's going to have the biggest problem with that, because Daredevil season 3 is going to be like have to address what happened at the end of the Defenders. But I thought for the follow through from season 1 to season 1 of the other shows to this one,
they did
they did a good job kind of resolving where those characters were. Like Luke Cage got out of prison. Jessica Jones by the end of this decides, all right, I'll reopen my agency. And where it ends on season 1, it doesn't you can go from season 1 to season 2 without really feeling lost or with anything. Only one actually felt that Daredevil had a little bit of a disconnect here, because the Defenders starts and he's like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. And I'm like, since when, dude? I didn't remember the seeds being planted for that in Daredevil season 2 at all. He didn't say he was going to quit. He told Karen that his secret identity, but he didn't retire. And then this starts and he's like, oh, I'm retired. I'm like, since when? So I felt a little weird. That was the only of the character of the 4 that felt disconnected, because you catch up with Iron Fist and they're still looking for the hand. They're still running around like, give me answers. What happened at Kunlun?
Well, there was a big time gap though. At the end of Daredevil season 2, where
after Elektra
dies or whatever. So I think maybe that's where it came into play.
Yeah.
Or after she had died.
What was an established? I mean, they could have left it that it was unclear what he was doing, and then this sort of established, hey, I decided not to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I don't remember if
didn't
there's
set that
any line or anything
I
maybe
don't
that he
think
said.
so. Not that I recall.
That he was like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And then Foggy's like, yeah, you shouldn't do it. It's bad for you, man.
Everybody's like, and then that was, but I like that Foggy was the one that's like, oh, we have all these extra cases. I'm trying to keep you busy, and that's how he gets the Jessica Jones case. Things like that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's
and
so
I also
cool.
like that he's the one that gives him his outfit at the end of the movie or the show.
Yeah,
It almost feels like a movie at times.
It does, yeah. Well, it's a miniseries, and it goes pretty quick.
To kind of be like, this is what you need to be, and you want to be this, and I'm here for you.
He's a good friend.
All this, to be there for him.
I thought some of the supporting players felt really shoehorned into this. Like, there's no reason that Malcolm had to be here. There's no reason that a lot of these characters were just kind of there for no reason.
Well, that's why he wasn't in it that much, though.
Yeah. I feel that even Claire Temple served a purpose. Most of them serve some purpose, but it just for several of the episodes they spend time just hanging out in the police station.
Yeah,
and it's just like, oh man, these characters have nothing to do. They're just kind of chilling in this room.
Yeah,
be like, hey, you know this person? That's crazy. I know this person.
Yeah, it's also a way of introducing Misty with Colleen.
Yes, I love that.
And
that needs to happen. I would trade, and I've said this on Twitter, I would trade Iron Fist Season 2 and Luke Cage Season 2 for Heroes for Hire Season 1 and Daughters of the Dragon Season 1. I think that would be a better match than having those two guys individually.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll get to that point where they'll either have Luke Cage appear on Iron Fist or vice versa, and then have a mini-series with that.
I think maybe they'll do one more season of each of them,
and then maybe something else,
do it together,
another event or something.
Yeah, because I feel like the second season of Luke Cage will probably go into what I was saying.
Yeah.
About
the second season is going to be
the people
more,
that ran the tests on him.
Well, the second season looks like it's going to deal way more the way they left it is Diamondback coming back also with unbreakable skin and shit. Remember? He was that doctor, because I watched Luke Cage not long ago, because I hadn't seen it. I was catching up.
Yeah.
And that doctor that made Luke Cage that way, took the body of Diamondback or whatever, took him into custody or whatever, and he's probably going to do the same.
It was too outrageous, process. That villain, for me.
Diamondback?
Yeah,
I didn't like his
too
acting
outrageous.
was a little it
was over the top. It was,
yeah, and he was trying to be funny a lot, and I was like, dude, that's not working for me.
It's not for that character.
Cottonmouth was so awesome.
Cottonmouth.
That's why
good.
I was that pissed me off. If you're gonna do that, you should have had Cottonmouth, and then Cottonmouth. Spoilers for Luke Cage. Cottonmouth gets killed by Mariah, and then Mariah becomes the main one. Not Mariah kills Cottonmouth, and then there's this other guy that we've heard referenced, and instead just hold Diamondback till season 2 or something.
Yeah.
I thought that was really whatever. That's totally.
I thought that's where they were going to go with it.
That's what I thought too. Until he showed up, and I was like, oh man.
That episode I actually liked because I was like, whoa, I didn't expect this.
Now Mariah's going to be one
of
things.
Now she's going to be, and she's trying to cover up for his murder and everything. I thought that's where it was going to go, but it took a whole weird route, and he's like, you know how actors play the Joker?
Yeah.
And they're so over the top and crazy.
He's
but
it
blah,
works. Blah, 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 blah,
but it works for the Joker.
Whatever, and he's trying to. I don't know. He was.
It works for the Joker though. Going over like a Jack Nicholson or
that's sort of campy dialogue. Yeah.
It works for that.
Yeah, it wouldn't
for
work
the
for
Joker, but it didn't work for. No. It doesn't work for Diamondback.
Especially following Cottonmouth and especially following Kilgrave and Fisk. It's like how are you gonna do me like that? MCU.
Yeah.
Netflix, MCU. Anyway, back to the Defenders. But yes, I agree with you on that 100%. What did you think about Sigourney Weaver here as Alexandra and the whole 5 fingers of the hand and that whole thing? Because
I like the 5 fingers of the hand.
I like that concept. I don't like some of the characters that they introduced that were not very interesting.
I didn't see the point of Sigourney Weaver if she's just gonna.
It's a big star for kind of a nothing role.
Get killed.
Spoilers again.
And you don't even see her do anything. She just kind of stands there and
around
holds
being
her.
I'm Sigourney Weaver, guys.
Holds her, her chest, her belly, oh, something's wrong with me, pill,
Yeah.
So
she's a good actress.
It was kind of like a build-up.
It
was like a build-up to stuff that never happened.
It's sort of like what you were saying with Rosario, I think, where she's a great actress and she does what she can with the material, but she doesn't really have that much to do here.
Yeah, they kept alluding to something big and bad was going to happen with her.
Right.
And the same thing with the Japanese guy.
Yeah, he was boring.
They kept alluding that something big and bad was going to happen with the Japanese guy. One of the quotes that they said was, he's all, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing, he's all good and dandy, but when you piss him off, he's like, he gets berserk, you know?
I just wish that I wish the five fingers of the hand were more entertaining, I guess is my point.
And also I don't understand what the whole concept of selling the drugs and everything was to begin with. Did I miss out on something?
No,
here?
nothing. This is the big problem with a lot of the Netflix shows. The hand nothing the hand does makes sense, really. Like, I have no idea what they're doing, why they're doing it. They're immortal, I guess, and now we know because it's the bone marrow of the dragon that's under the...
Like, do they even know?
I don't
the people that are writing this?
I don't think so.
Or are they just digging themselves deeper?
I think they're just like, here's the hand, they're an evil, they do evil. It's like Kung Pao, Enter the Fist, where he's like, it is evil, it is so evil. They're the evil council, basically. Is what they are. And of the five fingers of the hand, I didn't give a crap about the Japanese guy that we just met. I only gave a crap about Sigourney Weaver because she's Sigourney Weaver. The character was kind of a nothing presence for me. And Bakudo was annoying on Iron Fist, and I'm glad he came back because it resolved, Colleen's thing a little bit.
Yeah, I knew.
But it's also was not. I still don't like the character. So the only one of the five that I really found interesting was Madame Gao, who was in Iron Fist and
I actually liked,
was in Daredevil.
I actually liked the black guy, the one they cut his head off.
Oh yeah,
spoilers, I guess we're saying. I actually liked him one of the most out of all those. He seemed the most interesting.
Yeah,
and he was the one that ended up getting killed. I felt like they could have gone a different, like...
I don't hold this against the show, the hand stuff, because ultimately I don't really care about the hand. The Defenders is not about, just like the Avengers is not about this faceless army of aliens coming to New York. It's about these people and their own stories and bringing those stories together into like a convergence point, basically.
Yeah.
And so the four heroes interacting, that's what made this worthwhile for me. The hand stuff is just like, all right, that's who they're facing, whatever.
But at the same time, the hand stuff is whatever. The aliens from Avengers or Ultron is whatever.
Right.
But it's ultimately...
Thanos is not going to be whatever.
It ultimately comes down to, do you like the battle at the end, though, with all these characters together? Because it's just an excuse to get the characters together.
Yeah, basically, that's how I viewed it.
And do you feel like that it satisfied your superhero erection?
I think the first half of this show is ironically, even though it takes forever for them all to get together, I actually think the first half of this show is better than the second half of the show.
The first half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the bringing them together is more interesting than what happens once they're together to an extent. The hand, I could kind of do whatever with the hand. I liked Elektra, and I liked the continuing of Elektra's story here. And I like that ultimately Elektra ends up really kind of being the big bad when she kills Alexandra, and those other people are just kind of like, oh shit, what do we do now? And I liked the way they brought Stick back, and then of course killed Stick. Spoilers. So I like the developments. I like the follow through with the previous shows, and I like what it sets up for the future for these characters. However, the whole thing with the dragon under New York, and we got to get the substance, and put air quotes on the substance.
Open the tunnel to go to Kunlun. And...
yeah, all that crap. I thought that was all ridiculous and kind of shitty. But, I mean, the Hand's plan in Daredevil Season 2 wasn't really that interesting either. I don't even remember what their plan... I don't remember what their plan was. They come back to life, that's all I remember. Which was just setting up Elektra not being dead.
They could have gone so much better with it, too.
I liked Elektra, the character stuff.
Like that whole creepy moment in the hospital on Daredevil Season 2 with the little kids just coming alive, coming back to life and everything.
Yeah.
And the ninjas coming in.
It does feel
whatever.
like the writers of these shows are sort of making it up as they go along a little bit with the Hand. It's like Lost all over again.
It could have been... They're all dead.
It's all connected, sort of.
They've been dead all along.
They connect the dots.
So... I liked the whole season, except the last episode or two. To be honest, that's where you want the
Right.
best
That
episodes
should be the big
to be.
payoff.
And I didn't like the battle really that much at the end.
Which battle? There's so many different battles.
The one at the inside the near the dragon's bones and under the building there.
The fight choreography wasn't Iron Fist bad, but it wasn't Daredevil awesome either. It was like kind of in the middle. They split the difference a little bit, I think.
Yeah, there were some good moments.
Yeah,
like where they were kind of trying to do Avenger moment with like the Iron Man like beam off of Captain America's shield or something, like team up moments like that. They had like brief moments at the end of Defenders with team up fighting at the same time, but for the most part it kind of fell flat. And
I can see that. Well, I think part of that is because
it was just really rushed. It was just really, really rushed at the end. Like there weren't like good fight battles with the hand, the fingers of the hand or whatever. The whole thing with Daredevil and Elektra was kind of annoying me at some point.
That he's like, I gotta save her,
and I'm just like leave her, dude. Just leave her.
I think I like the Bakudo thing because of where it leaves Colleen and Misty, and that it sets up her bionic arm. That we've already seen pictures from Luke Cage season 2 that they're already shooting, I guess. Yeah. With her with the bionic arm, so that's exciting. That was the only Gal got away, or it's supposed sort of. We saw her live. She's probably gonna come back. Let's break it down.
Well, she was still down there with the Japanese
guy. Yeah, she's probably still gonna come back.
The Japanese guy could still be alive.
I guess. He's not that interesting, though. So, but Madame Gao is probably more of a fan favorite than the Japanese guy whose name we don't remember.
Yeah. Is Bakudo still alive?
No. Colleen killed him.
Okay.
Yeah, after he cut off Misty's arm.
Okay, so that's good.
We gotta win. We don't like him anymore. So that means they can't play the immortality card again and again and again, which is good because that would get old.
The only thing you can take away from that is just from that scene. Misty's arm gets cut off and Bakudo is
like,
dead.
Oh, Danny's got some resources.
Everything else, though, like, what did we gain from all this?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
I mean, the characters are still...
I think the fact
all of them are still alive. The
fact that a lot of this story leans on Iron Fist, I think, was not a smart move. But they were shooting this already before Iron Fist came out, and people were all like, "Oh, Iron Fist's not good." Because this whole show is like their whole point is that they need to get Iron Fist. They need this Danny Rand, whoever the Iron Fist currently is, but at this time it's Danny Rand, like the worst Iron Fist ever, basically, as the show points out many times, and gets a lot of laughs out of that. And all the interplay and witty repartee between the four of them was awesome, by the way. But they just basically need his little glowing fist to open this thing so they can get to the dragon. That was really
they made fun of him at one point, didn't they?
No, everybody makes fun of Danny constantly, and that's what
he tells everybody the story.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the immortal Iron Fist. Blah blah blah. We all know. You told everybody. You walked into the boardroom and it's like, I'm Iron Fist, and like we know. That was actually a good scene. But that's what I'm saying. That's the first 4 episodes.
I like that fight battle better than the final fight battle.
Right. Yeah, and then doesn't that lead into the hallway one with all 4 of them? Like, that was really cool.
Yeah, that was a really good scene. That was the one that they showed in the trailer.
The final fight, one of the final ones is like the Elektra versus Danny versus Iron Fist thing.
Yes.
And then she like grabs his arm and like shoves it in and opens it up, and then all hell breaks loose or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Iron Fist part of it kind of weighs it down a little bit. But I do like, I mean, the way this ends, it basically sets up Luke Cage to just, I guess, go back to Harlem and do his thing, which will probably be the Diamondback scenario.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they have set up. Jessica Jones, like I said, turns the sign around on her.
What is Iron Fist going to do?
Iron Fist, that's what I like about where they left Iron Fist. They left Iron Fist basically patrolling the streets of New York in place of Daredevil. So I think he's going to be sort of protecting the streets, kind of how Daredevil was, because Daredevil's presumed dead, even though we know he's not. And I'm glad that they just showed us, because otherwise, come on, we know he's coming back. You might as well just show us. And that's a reference back to Born Again, which is a famous Daredevil comic book, which I should check that out, actually. Now I really want to. It's not at the library here. So I might have to get my hands on a copy of that somewhere. So I like that it leaves Iron Fist in this place where his whole season is, you had this post, you're supposed to guard Kunlun, you fucked it up.
The new
so now you're like, I'm an Iron Fist,
yeah.
but I don't know what to do. I could just beat my Iron Fist against the wall, basically, because I don't know what to do with it.
Because I have no purpose.
Right,
yeah.
but now he's found his purpose. He's like, as he's flying in, he's telling Colleen, it's like, it feels like home, that kind of thing. Like, that was his whole thing, was to find his home, find his meaning, find something, something to drive him. And he that fact that Daredevil says to him, like, protect my city or whatever.
Maybe that's why he couldn't find his chi all this time.
Yeah, maybe. He's like Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2, where he's like, I don't know what to do with my powers. I don't know if I want to be Spider-Man. That's why it's like, yeah, maybe. Yeah. So I like that it leads into Iron Fist sort of being the protector of New York in Daredevil's absence, and then eventually, of course, it's Daredevil's comeback. Do we think Elektra's going to come back? I mean, she is, right? She's got to.
Of course.
Yeah, she's got to go good, right? She's got to turn back to the good side again. Yeah. That's her thing. Yeah. She's good, and then she dies, and she comes back, and she's never actually really good that we've seen her, but she's got to get redemption.
Yeah, exactly. She's not going anywhere. She'll be. Do
you think her character, and we talked about this, I think, after Daredevil season 2. Do you think that character's strong enough to withstand a spin-off? Because I would kind of be down for that.
It'd be cool to see, like, flashbacks of her training and stuff a little bit.
Right.
Because that's a little mysterious as well. How did it come about that she's the Black Sky? Yeah. Just things like that. I think they can.
That's the other thing.
There's just a lot of mysteries about her.
I saw 13 episodes of Daredevil season 2. I saw 8 episodes of this. And by the way, I do like the fact that it was shorter. I think even though the end of it feels rushed, there's still a couple episodes there that sort of feel slightly draggy, and then it's all like, then it kind of speeds through. I think they could have. I think it has a little bit of a pacing issue, especially towards the end, like you said. Yeah. But I think 8 episodes was the perfect length for this. I just don't think they used those 8 episodes to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
But I saw, so what is that, 20-something episodes, 21 episodes of Elektra stuff. She wasn't in all of them, but still. And I still have no idea what the fuck the Black Sky is. Yeah. She's like, she's a warrior. She's really good at fighting. I'm like, okay. Why? What's the difference? I don't understand. Do you know what I mean? That's how everything is with the hand. None of it makes fucking sense at all.
21 episodes.
8 episodes of this and then 13. 8 plus 13, 21.
Oh, there's 13 episodes.
In season 2 of Daredevil.
Oh.
Yeah, because she's
thinking 10.
Yeah, no, there's 13.
What has 10? There's something that has
none
10
of these.
On Netflix.
Maybe Stranger Things or something?
Yeah,
Stranger Things actually has like 8, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Or 9? They're pretty short.
I watched them.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. You've seen them all. Well, I still need to watch Stranger Things
10,
season 1 before
13,
season 2 is next month, so I probably want to watch those soon. Then maybe we can talk about that.
It's October 27th or something.
Yeah, right in time for Halloween. They know what they're doing. Yeah. Marketing, yo.
Yeah. That Death Note, by the way, is terrible.
Yeah, I've heard it
is. Horror.
I've heard it is terrible.
Horror things that is just. I thought it looked really good by the trailer too, and the concept is pretty cool, but it's just terrible.
But the good thing about Netflix is, like, give it a day or two, they have something new up there constantly.
Yeah, their movies are hit and miss, but their shows are
pretty
seem to be spot on, unless you're Luke Cage or Iron Fist.
You know what? I like Luke Cage. Iron Fist, I agree with
I like them. I like them both, but I wouldn't rewatch them.
Maybe now that Luke Cage season 1 is out of the way, now you could be like, all right, they got his bullshit. They got that bullshit out of the way. Now do something interesting with the character. Now that we know him more.
Yeah, I'd love to see a Luke Cage done right.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Iron Fist. And now
they took their time
after the Defenders. I feel like I'm actually excited a little bit about Iron Fist season 2 now because of where it leaves him.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I heard, unfortunately, the Defenders was supposedly like the lowest rated Marvel show on Netflix. Like the fewest amount of people watched it. I don't know if that's because everybody saw Iron Fist. The Defenders.
Iron Fist?
The Defenders was the lowest rated.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because everybody saw Iron Fist and they're like, pass on that. Or if they didn't market it right or what's going on. But that was kind of a bummer for me because I was hoping we would see more like Defenders season 2 or something. And we might still. But because I thought this was pretty strong. I mean, not as good as Daredevil or Jessica Jones, but probably...
You have to end on a high note. You can't end with one of the crappiest versions of your show.
Yeah, the crappiest of the 4.
Them to go,
most people. It's according to most people.
Yeah. So...
That's a bit of a
If it
bummer.
ended with like Jessica Jones or something, then that'd be a whole other story.
Yeah, people love because that show is widely praised. So the way that this ends, do you want to see more Defenders, or would you rather they do just different team ups, different combinations, or do you like fuck these 4 people? I'm waiting for Punisher. Like where do you lie in the Marvel Netflix spectrum?
I think that they should do like 3 or 4 seasons, and then get back at.
So you don't think it should be like the movies where it's like phase 1, everybody gets a movie, and then a team up, and then phase 2, everybody gets a show, and then a team up, like that.
I would probably be happier with an actual movie.
Yeah.
Than 8 episodes now. You know?
Yeah.
Because they've already met each other.
So you think that next time they're like a Netflix original movie, The Defenders, Quest of the or whatever. Quest of the Black Sky, Return of the Black Sky, or some bullshit. I don't know. You'd rather there be like a straight up 2-hour just movie, like condensed down, rather than
2 or 3 hours,
8 hours of just like meandering.
Yeah, I feel like now that they know each other,
yeah,
it would be just a little bit better to just make a movie out of it. Although that might be it might be difficult because in the realm of TV, things are dragged on a little bit, and there's more character development. So that might be a weird shift from TV to movie for them. But I feel like now that they already introduced and a lot of the story, like talking and everything,
basically
and introducing
the novelty of that is already past now. So just give us the goods, and don't be like 3 episodes of Daredevil and Jessica Jones. Like even though I kind of want to see more of just the 2 of them interacting, honestly.
But if they're gonna do a movie, have it melt into it from the shows,
right?
So you don't have. You already have that to base off of when you go into the movie.
Or do the Heroes for Hire thing that way. Like have Luke Cage season 2. He's like, oh, I'm so glad I finally defeated Diamondback. And he like goes to his apartment or whatever. And he's like, Danny, what are you doing here? And he's like, Luke, we have to talk. And then it's Heroes for Hire coming soon or whatever. Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I mean, as far as what I want to see next from these characters, I would like more Defenders, but I would also be cool if they don't rush back into another team up of all 4 of them, and that they instead, like I said, do a Heroes for Hire, do a Daughters of the Dragon, just have Jessica Jones randomly show up on Daredevil and have them, because I thought they had a lot of chemistry, not romantic chemistry obviously, but like I thought they had a lot of chemistry on screen, because she's like the smart ass and he's like the one that calls her out for being a smart, like those, that scene where he was tailing her and she was like turning around on him, and I loved all that shit.
I think they should do 4 or 5 ones, and here's what I think: Luke Cage,
season 2,
Daredevil, season 3,
I think
Jessica Jones, season 2.
Those are their 2 flagships.
Punisher, of course, and then the last one, Iron Fist, but also
with Luke Cage.
With Colleen Wing and Misty having their own storyline in between. So it's not all about Iron Fist, but having Colleen Wing and Misty do their own thing on the side as well.
Right.
What part of town? Be like a
what part of town is Iron? Like they don't establish. You know how, like Daredevil's in Hell's Kitchen, and I think Jessica Jones is also in Hell's Kitchen, and like Luke Cage is in Harlem. Did they establish what like town that
downtown?
I guess is a Miss Manhattan. I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Because where Colleen's dojo is, I was gonna say because then you could just have like on Luke Cage season 2 because Misty's obviously gonna be on that. And then by the end of the season, just have her be like, "Fuck this! I'm moving uptown or whatever."
Well, most of the he was just going wherever the hand was.
Yeah.
But most of it was in like the Manhattan downtown area or whatever.
Whatever.
Wherever Rand Enterprise was. Can we cut? Can we?
If we do get an Iron Fist season 2, which has already been renewed, I believe, can we just like cut the Meachums out of it because they were like fucking weighing that thing down. I would like to see.
I liked what's the dude's name?
Ward.
I liked him.
The son,
toward the end,
when he's like trying to grab his balls back again.
Yeah,
They just spent so much time, and then
I think he'll be more.
Harold
He'll be more
died
of
like
a
3
side.
times.
He'll be more of a side character though. Now, yeah, that was a little annoying.
Joy was basically not like she had no character. She had no personality whatsoever.
She was annoying.
She had no personality. It was annoying as shit. I guess Ward was the most interesting of the 3 Meachums. I'll give you that for sure.
Ward started annoying, ended up pretty good.
But there's like that middle
Harold
section.
started good and ended annoying.
Yeah.
Joy started good, ended annoying.
There's that
So
whole
we
middle
have-
section where Ward is like rapidly, like everything's falling apart on Ward, and he's
Yeah.
like totally strung out. He's like showing up at places all sweaty and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is taking a dark turn.
Yeah.
And then he kills his dad.
He,
and
like,
then he's
breaks
like,
his hand in
cover
the
up,
door,
like,
yeah.
burying his dad, and he's like, oh shit, pulling like a Norman Bates, like waiting for the freaking thing to sink into the
I felt
river.
bad for him.
Oh my god.
Bury the body.
Maybe Ward should have his own show then. He's like, fuck it, go for it, Ward.
No, I think him
Adventures
on the
of Ward
side
Mitchell.
it's not bad, you know.
Yeah.
I think.
But have him be like an ally of Danny, not this
Yeah,
whole,
yeah.
I don't know Danny, blah, blah, blah.
No. I think
Yeah,
he's
we're
gonna
past
be.
all that.
I think he's gonna be an ally of Danny now because they've come to common terms and he respects Danny now. I think the opposite now is gonna be Joy.
Joy
where
should go on she's going to be against Danny.
she's gonna be with that the English guy, whatever. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
The dude from Kung Lung.
Yeah.
That was his friend.
Davos?
Davos.
I like
yes.
Davos, too.
I knew
More
it started
Davos.
with a D.
Or Davos.
Yes, I love him.
I liked him.
That
He was cool.
That was probably my favorite part of
Davos was cool. It's
that
for fans of these
relationship and that
individual
fight and everything.
It's a bummer. It's cool that they have so many of the supporting players in the Defenders. It's just a bummer that, like I said earlier, so many of them are just kind of there for the sake of being there.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a bummer.
But I'm glad
it's cool to see them at all.
I'm
guess.
glad
Like,
that
hey, Trish.
Davos wasn't in there.
Well, yeah,
Just
he's
because
off.
it wouldn't have made any sense.
He's off to be doing his own thing. Probably tracking. He was probably tracking the hand themselves. He'll show up in New York right after the whole freaking building crumbles. Be like, oh shit! I just got here.
That'd be
Midland
a-
Circle is the hand. I just discovered it. Like, yeah,
That'd be a funny
know, dude.
blooper at the end.
It's
After
usually like
the
a
credits-
post-credit scene.
after
Instead
the-
of they put a Punisher teaser after the credits on Defenders.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I didn't
Instead of
see.
that, you probably have seen it online anyway at this point.
Yeah.
Instead of that, they should have had Davos be like, "I'm here. Let's fight the." Oh, and then backing away slowly, like
With
the
like
Homer
a- like
Simpson
a-
gif with the
A
grass.
backpack full of C4 or something.
or something.
Like that.
He's like, "I'm ready to go.
Do this.
My fist isn't glowing, but I'm working on it." I'm like, "Okay, you're not an Iron Fist. Take it easy." He's like, "But I want to be." Damn, Iron Fist have all the fun.
Is Daredevil gonna be evil?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't know the details. Well,
I haven't read that comic.
The details.
I didn't even
I
know
think
it
that was
was-
just supposed to be a visual cue to that comic, and then
They
so
pulled
some
like
people
a Man of Steel thing at the end.
a little bit. So some people are saying, because you know how they say like I don't remember the name that they say, but they say, "Oh, get what's her face." They say somebody's name at the end of the very end of that episode. That's supposed to be in the comics. That's his mom. So his mom might come into the picture in season 3.
Oh,
But
sweet.
Born Again, basically, from what I understand, again, haven't read it, has a lot to do with the Kingpin trying to dismantle Matt Murdock's life.
Mm.
And I think he finds out his secret identity, and it goes really dark for Karen, where she's like a porn star and like to drugs. I don't think they're going to do that part of it because they're taking Karen in a totally different direction. I know that's more the kind of thing you're into. But that does hint at Vincent D'Onofrio getting out of prison.
Her or Foggy, one of them has to.
Whichever, it doesn't really matter for you, I guess.
Nah.
But that does hint that the Kingpin will probably be coming back in a big bad way, and the main bad of season 3 again is what it kind of indicates. I don't know if none of that has been confirmed at this point. But I mean, if they were visually,
That's what it seems like they're doing.
Yeah, if they were visually calling out that storyline at the end of that episode, I mean, it's pretty clear that they're probably going to, lean into that at least for inspiration for season 3. Yeah, I don't know. I like Daredevil, and I think there's a reason that that's the flagship of these shows, because it is the most. It adheres the most to the formula of, like I said, a superhero story, and it's also the most recognizable character of the 4. So I'm excited to see what that holds. Are we even getting that next year, or is that the year after? That might be even 2019, I think, because they're already making Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Punisher next year. I think we're all getting all 3 of those next year. So it might be 2019 before we get Daredevil season 3. It's been a while. When was season 2? Was that last year? So it means it'd be like 3 years between seasons. Jeez.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. It's a long time. It's not like Curb Your Enthusiasm long, where it took like 8 years for them to do the season 9 or whatever.
Yeah, they're gonna get to it though.
Yeah,
at least we get Jessica Jones next year.
Yeah, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Punisher, I think, are all next year. So, I don't know. I think we're still excited. I like the Defenders, but I mean, it sounds like you didn't like it quite as much as I did. But I understand.
The last episode or two.
Yeah, I understand. Sort of lose what after Alexandria gets killed. What did you not think Elektra was a big villain?
Actually,
because that's
as soon as she got killed,
you're like, you lost me now. Fuck you, show, whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't as good. It really wasn't.
Elektra can't really hold it down as the main villain.
Because again, this is the same thing the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes did.
You're like,
they plant seeds, and then they don't...
There were not enough apes in the Defenders, I agree.
No, an avalanche coming out of nowhere.
An avalanche.
James Franco? Where is James Franco? He just dies? What?
James Franco could show up here. What do you
I'm talking about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes now.
Okay.
I'm saying how they plant all these seeds. The dude killed Caesar at the end of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Spoilers for Dawn of the Planet. War of the Planet of the Apes. What is
whatever.
it?
War of the Planet of the Apes. The one that
just happened. Don't listen to the podcast.
Of the Planet of the Apes, I'll call it.
No link in the show notes. Yeah.
The dude that was supposed to save Caesar's life ends up killing Caesar. The gorilla...
Well, that was subverting expectations.
The gorilla that was supposed to... That they planted that seed also got killed.
Well, you already said that you didn't think. You already said you didn't think Sigourney Weaver's character was that interesting. So, did you not like Elektra better as the big bad? Did you? But again, here's my other thing.
I liked her as a big bad, but why are you gonna plant the seed that she's amazing and then be like, oh, she's dead. Fuck you guys. Sigourney Weaver's gone.
Now it's all about Elektra.
Also, the Japanese guy. Fuck you guys.
You spent 6 episodes building up Alexandra, and then you're like, we're taking her off the table. You're like, what the fuck?
And then also...
Did you run out of time with Sigourney Weaver? Did you have to go film a movie?
The bad guy they had no motive. Yeah, they want to go to Kunlun, but what the fuck was everything else about? You know what I mean? If you throw...
I don't like that I'm worried that these shows are starting
Rogen.
to...
Okay, you go.
I was going to say, I was worried that these shows are starting to now do the premature death thing as like a cheat. Like, they're relying on it too much. Luke Cage did that, like we said, with Cottonmouth. Iron Fist did that a couple times with Harold, and then just kept bringing him back. Yeah. And then they did it here. The Styx death, I guess, made a little more sense in the context of the story. But Alexander's just like, now it's a different villain, y'all.
I didn't mind the Styx death. Because it was fitting.
Yeah.
And he ran his run. He did his purpose.
She didn't like him anyway.
You know, it improved on the story. And
he brought them together.
And he brought them together.
He was the Agent Coulson, sort of. In a way, more than Claire Temple.
Yeah, exactly. More than Agent Coulson.
More than Claire. Claire, you're watching all these shows and you're thinking Claire Temple is going to be the one that's like, all right, hold on. Conference call. Danny, Matt, Jessica, and Luke. Okay, guys. Here, you meet me here, or whatever. Yeah. Instead, it was actually the Stick that walks in and is like, all right, this is what's happening. Which makes sense because he's the one that stands against the Hand. It makes sense that he would be the one to unite them against Elektra and all that. So
that seed was planted. That seed was planted. But when you throw seeds on the table,
yeah,
you know, as Seth Rogen has said,
oh god,
you plant the seeds, and then when it grows into a plant, you fuck the plant.
I have to watch that again.
40-year-old virgin.
I have to watch that again. I haven't seen that in so long.
There was no fucking of the plants because there wasn't no plants in this. The Stick one, yes.
Stick.
It was there.
Stick was a plant. It was on twig instead of stick because it was the beginning of a plant. But now I'm talking about. Sounds like
Groot.
I was gonna say now it sounds like I'm talking about Groot.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. All right.
So I'm excited for Thor. That's the next superhero.
Yeah, let's do I guess to date so far this year for the MCU. I'm not counting the ABC stuff because nobody pays attention to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Inhumans. Let's be honest. We've had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and The Defenders and Iron Fist. I like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 way more than all the other ones.
Yes.
Easily. And I've rewatched it. I've watched it, the Blu-ray, and then I watched it with the commentary on the Blu-ray. And I like that movie more every time I see it. It's one of those movies. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it makes me like the first one more a little bit just because I like the second one.
And Lego Batman apparently too.
Oh, I love Lego Batman too. But yeah.
You always count that one.
Well, it's a comic book movie too, but I'm saying
I don't think that
I'm saying
counts.
it's not MCU. It's DC. Thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought we were talking about all of them.
No. I still like Logan better than Guardians Volume 2, but I'm saying of the MCU stuff this year, Guardians is like far better than all those different things. But I am very hopeful about Thor Ragnarok. It looks really good, and I'm excited with that filmmaker Taika Waititi and the cast and everything that they have going for
Sounds
that.
like a
Taika
DJ.
Waititi directed.
Sounds like a DJ.
He's
like
tight
a dubstep person.
He's tight with the Flight of the Conchords guys. He actually directed some of the episodes of that show. He did a movie last year called The Hunt for the Wilder People that's really good. He did a sort of a vampire like mockumentary called What We Do in the Shadows that's also really good. I haven't seen his first 2 or 3 movies. I need to check them out. I think they used to be on Netflix. I don't know if they're still on there.
It's definitely fun to say.
Yeah, Taika Waititi. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It sounds like a tropical drink.
I'll
take a Taika Waititi. Frozen.
Yeah.
But no, so I'm really excited about that, and I've said this before, and maybe even on the podcast, but it seems that with the third entry of all these like solo hero trilogies, because everybody gets a trilogy and then they're out.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the third one they're like, all right, well you're gonna go see the third one anyway, so fuck it. Iron Man not getting his fucking suit for almost the whole movie, and Captain America's losing that goddamn shield by the end, and so Thor,
hammer.
Yeah, they took his pretty much. They're all like, what is your big weapon? Nope, you don't get it for this movie, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like that. I think that it's kind of strips that kind of like, spoilers for Harry Potter, kind of like Harry Potter does over the course of those 7 stories, little by little, he loses all his support systems. Sirius Black and Dumbledore and all these people that like back him up and like, get behind me, Harry. Or whatever, by the end, Harry needs to take care of business himself and sort of face his worst fears and all his I don't even know who the hell that was supposed to be. That doesn't even sound like Dumbledore.
Oh, what do we do about these kids?
It sounded like Gandalf. Fly your fools!
Marty, we gotta go back to the future.
I would watch the hell out of that if he showed up there. So you know what I mean? The Thor, the fact that it looks like they destroy his hammer in the first probably 15 minutes of the movie. That's exciting for me, and it's interesting to see what they're doing with that. Plus, they're folding in Planet Hulk kind of storyline in there, and leading into possibly, I don't know if this is going to have the last Infinity Stone in it, or if it's going to be Black Panther or something else, but we're running out of time here. They only have a couple more movies before this comes out.
It'll probably be Black Panther.
Might be in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Well, because it seems like each franchise sort of gets one. So the Guardians had one of them.
Did we see the Time Stone yet?
I don't remember anymore. I think the Soul one is the only one left.
I don't know. Actually, I think what's her name? Hera? Helda?
Helga.
Hela? Yeah, something with an H. Yeah, I think she has one.
Maybe.
Because I think what's gonna happen is she's going to send Hulk into another dimension.
The Thor franchise, other than the Guardians,
because they've done that in other things.
This franchise makes the most sense to introduce Infinity Stones. You can't really have Iron Man be like, "What the hell is this thing?" It doesn't fit that universe as much, or that part of the universe.
Do you think Loki dies?
Probably no. Because I think he needs to be in Infinity War.
He was in the trailer for Infinity War.
Yeah, I think you needed him in Infinity War, but you think that was throwing us off?
Did they to throw us off? Exactly.
I think, part of me feels, I guess you could do Infinity War without him, but part of me feels like, since they've been like on the DL building this whole Thanos trying to collect the gems, and Loki was a part of that, where he gave Loki the scepter, which is one of the gems, so that he can get the Tesseract, so that he could take over Earth, all that shit. I feel like you kind of want at least a couple scenes of Loki in Infinity War to sort of draw those connections. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
Because remember, he was one of the people that Thanos reached out to do that, and then he failed him. So we'll see what happens. I think Nebula's gonna die in there for sure. I think she's gonna go. She's gonna be gone. She might even be the one to kill Thanos.
Oh yeah.
So anyway.
Well, it'll be interesting nonetheless.
Yes, for sure.
Hopefully the plants will be fucked.
Yeah, hopefully plants will be fucked. Wait, but Gru is only going to be like a teenager. I don't even know. I don't know what the age of consent is for whatever he is.
Yeah.
So that might be going darker territory.
It might go into pedophile territory.
Okay.
No, I mean like the seeds that were planted.
But needless to say, I
Backtrack.
think we both would recommend checking out The Defenders on Netflix. I mean, chances are you have a Netflix account anyway, so it's kind of just sitting there. So it's not bad. It's not the best thing ever, but it's a good next step for the Netflix MCU. So check that out, and you can see again my review in the show notes. But that's all we have for now. You can rate and review us on iTunes if you'd be so kind. We're also on Stitcher. You can find me on Twitter at Crooked Table.
At Freddy_Yaniz.
We're also on Facebook and the other social medias. You can find more podcasts, reviews, videos, and other movie-related goodies at crookedtable.com. Next episode, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to talk about because I'm trying to record multiple episodes sort of in a short period of time to kind of catch up with things, but probably be me talking about Kingsman, but maybe something else.
American Made.
Maybe American Made, yeah. So until then, I've been Rob.
Freddy.
We'll catch you around the table next week.
Seats.
Roll credits.
This has been a production of crookedtable.com. All rights reserved.
Daredevil AKA